this wasn't part of the plan. One moment everything is building. The training, the momentum, the belief. Then it stops. No warning, no control. Setbacks don't care how hard you've worked. They don't ask if you're ready. They just show up and take. But maybe that's where the real test begins. When the lanes are gone. When the routine breaks. When the silence is louder than the cheering ever was. Who are you then? Because pain might take your progress, but it can't take your purpose. And when the lights come back on, you'll be ready.
When did you know something was really wrong?
So I just finished training on a Tuesday morning, and then I went to gym, and then I obviously went for a nap because we train really early in the morning. I woke up from this nap and I had a massive pain in my lower abs, appendix on the right side area, and I was just like, oh, I hope it's okay. Maybe I just pulled a muscle.
What was going through your mind in the hospital?
Honestly, Felix took me down to the hospital, and we were like, oh, it'll be nothing. It's just gonna be a pulled muscle or a bit of stomach cramp. And then they referred us to the Leicester Royal Infirmary, which is about 30 minutes drive away. So we're like, oh, it has to be something serious if they're infirmary. And to be honest, I was like, if we're having to drive, I hope something's wrong. But then we got to the hospital, and I was like, when they told me in the room, I was actually I was a bit heartbroken because I was gonna have to get surgery, and that could put me out of world champs. So then I was like, but then I had to deal with it in the moment.
You've been chasing gold, records, legacy. What happens when all of that is put on pause?
Honestly, I was just praying that I could get the surgery on the same day so that I wouldn't have to pause my swimming aspirations for that long, tops a week. But I ended up staying 2 nights in the hospital, and then they ended up telling me then after that I could go home and I didn't need the surgery because the antibiotics were doing their job, but I would have to get the surgery later on a later day. So even though I was so glad that I didn't have to miss any more training, even though I had to take a little bit of a step back because I was on these antibiotics and they were ruining my stomach. But it still means that I still get this surgery and take this time off at some point in the rest of the year.
What's been harder, the physical pain or the mental adjustment?
Definitely the mental adjustment was harder. I think I came back to training the next day after getting out of hospital, and I tried to push it a bit, and I just ended up hurting too much. So, and mentally, I just wasn't happy, and I was like, how much of time am I going to lose at the pool to this, and how much is it going to affect me later on in the season? But I mean, we'll only be able to answer those questions after the World Championships of how much it did impact me. But right now, I'm still headstrong after that week break to get back into this.
How do you define success now, after this experience?
My goals are still the same. My success is still going to be winning that gold medal at the World Championships with an appendix or without an appendix, you know. That's what my goal is, and I will stay firm to it that I will still win it.
What are your hopes for the World Championships now?
Hopes stay the same. Win a gold medal. I would love it to be in the 800 freestyle. That's my event. I won the Olympics in that, and I want to keep that goal. And you know, sometimes you get these setbacks in life, and they may actually come as like a blessing, because maybe that week off in training was the week off that I needed to push me to be more motivated in training for the rest of the 6 weeks that we have left.
What's the hardest part of dealing with a setback? The physical recovery or the mental shift?
Setbacks come in so many different forms. It can come from an injury, it can come from a family member dying, or any other issue that's going on in your life. And you're judged not by how many times you fall, but how you get back up. And this setback for me, sure, appendix, a massive infection, it affects quite a lot of the population, and it's easily treated, but it is kind of a setback. It made me miss some training. It made me take a mental break from the sport, focusing on my health. But now my goal, get back up strong, push fast times and win that World Champions gold medal.
Do you feel like athletes are expected to bounce back too quickly?
I think sometimes, obviously, if you've got an older coach, they're stuck in their older ways. But I mean, modern coaching right now, it's important for the recovery. I've learned, I took 4 or 5 months off after the Olympics, and then I was still able to come back and go on my best times after 3 months of training. So it really shows now, as we're progressing more in sport, we're getting more information, that these breaks actually help you than hinder you, and that's why I think it's good.
When things go wrong, where does your mind go first? Fear, frustration, or focus?
I can tell you that as soon as I got told I had appendicitis, I was definitely fear was in me because of the obviously the unknown of how long it was going to take me out of training, what surgery is going to feel like, because I haven't had surgery since I was a child, and like everything, staying in a hospital, is the hospital bed going to ruin me, you know, like stuff like that. It's all these different thoughts are going through my mind, and I ended up staying 2 nights, but it was like I came back after the hospital, and 5 days after, I'm still feeling the pain that I was in when I was in hospital because of obviously the fatigue from the infection, and then obviously paying for the not recovering well enough after it.
What have you learned about yourself through this challenge that you wouldn't have learned through winning?
A funny story, I actually got told in the hospital that they've never seen somebody lose all their like infection signs within a night. They said I'm a super fast healer, and so I was pretty proud that they told me that in the hospital, because it kind of gave me a big confidence boost that I can overcome this and be ready in time for world champs. But I also learned a lot about how I am resilient as an athlete, that I can take these challenges and still progress on and push fast times in training a week later. Just because I've had this setback doesn't mean that my season's ruined.
How do you rebuild your confidence after a setback?
I think confidence doesn't like come if I'm set back in a certain way. My confidence doesn't go. I'm still a very confident person. I'm happy to tell you my goals on camera. That's how confident I am, and you know that setback of the appendicitis just meant that I just had another challenge to overcome in my life, and I've overcome many. So what's another one?
Do setbacks make you question your love for the sport, or remind you why you love it?
I think they remind you of setbacks remind you your love for the sport. For me, like as soon as I go take time off training, I just want to get straight back in again. It's always the same with a lot of athletes. The best in the world are the ones who love their sport the most, the ones who enjoy it. Because if you don't enjoy it, you're not going to be able to progress. And I think me sitting in that hospital bed, I was like, I definitely know why I'm swimming and the reason why.
What pressure do you feel from yourself or others to come back strong?
I don't really feel any pressure. I knew that I was going to have like a bit of like, is this going to affect my racing? But now looking at it from an overall perspective after it's happened, there's no pressure. Just get back to training, get back to work. I've done the work already. We're 6 weeks out, you know what I mean? Missing a couple of days of training, missing a week of training, it's not going to hurt me in the long run. Setbacks don't change who you are. They just make sure you still want it.